Hello, Hayes. I'm currently a junior in college and also a member of an acapella group on campus. Over the last few years, this community has become my sacred space. So, what's the problem? My high school ex boyfriend recently transferred to my university. He's musically inclined, so naturally, he's auditioning for acapella. The moment I heard this, my stomach sank, like I physically felt nauseous at the news. To make a very long story short, he was not a good boyfriend, and I immensely enjoy my life without him in it. It's terrifying to have someone who only knows high school me suddenly meet all the people who strictly know college me. It took me so long to leave that relationship in the past, and now it's clawing its way back into my life. Bottom line, I don't want him to audition. Every time I talk about it to friends who know him, I feel like an evil ex, conniving and preying on his downfall, when I'm not. Really, I just want to be left alone. I don't want to worry about whether I'll see him at mixers, concerts, or hangouts. I don't want to rehash my high school relationship if someone asks why things are weird between us. I don't want to see my friends end up better friends with him. I know I could be cordial, ignore it, and keep investing in friendships regardless of if he's there or not. I know I can't control him and what he wants to do. But Hayes, I can't stand the thought of him being back in my life, let alone in the community that feels like home. Am I a horrible person for thinking this way? Am I limiting his experience for my own comfort? Yours, Aka bitch. Okay, Aka bitch. My God, what an unfortunate situation. Let's just put that right out there. This is a sucky situation. Nobody, when you have a breakup, listen, some people I know have very cordial breakups and continue being in the same friend group and can deal with it. But like, come on, the ideal way to have a breakup, especially when the breakup was bad and you're not on good terms, is to really never have to see the person again. And that's the great thing about high school relationships. Oftentimes you go to college and then you don't really have to see them again. When you go back to your hometown, if you bump into them, it's, for a brief moment at the bagel store and you can survive. This is like, part of me, I'm kind of shocked that he would. It's a little shocking that he would join the acapella group. It has been years, so maybe the two of you are on just completely different wavelengths about the relationship, and it still sort of surprises me. Like if I put myself in his shoes for a brief moment and I was transferring to a school where my ex was, I simply can't imagine like wanting to be in the community, in the small group. Like acapella, right? It's not like there's 150 people in this acapella group. Like acapella, I'm picturing, 10, 15 people max. I don't know, even if it's 30 max, like that's an intimate group. For me personally, I can't imagine doing it. So I definitely have a bit of an archetype of how I'm imagining his personality, that he would think this is a good idea. But let's go back to you. I just wanted to kind of come out and say that in the beginning, that this is a slightly absurd situation. So we need to figure out the best way for you to move through this and not let this affect you. It's not let it affect you, but because I think that's impossible. It's how can you move through this and how can you make the best of how this is going to affect you? How can we make sure what we want to do together right now is talk through solutions and ways to think about this so that it doesn't turn you into a person you dislike, and so that some of your fears that you listed here don't come true or become even worse versions of themselves. So first of all, no, you're not a horrible person for thinking this way. You're not a horrible person. You're not a horrible person at all. You are a human being who doesn't want to rehash the past and doesn't want memories of the past to be in your face. And I don't really care about limiting his experience for, you're my person right now. You asked, am I limiting his experience for my own comfort? Perhaps. And maybe I don't want to get ahead of myself. It depends on what you're doing. Like it depends on what actions you're taking right now to deal with this feeling. If you were saying, I guess just to come right off of the bat, I don't think that you should interfere with his ability to be in the group or not. I don't think that you should pull any strings so that he doesn't get in. Mostly because I don't think that is something that you'll feel good about later. I don't think you will feel good about yourself if you meddle in that way. I don't think you'll feel good about yourself if you allow your negative feelings towards him to impact your behavior. I think it's fine to have the feelings and it's fine among your close friends to vent right now and to talk about it. But also the more like negative energy, the more airspace you give this topic, the more you talk about how you can't believe he's here, The more you do that, the more space, the more real estate it's going to take up in your brain. And it's always a hard balance trying to figure out, like, what's the proper amount to talk about something and vent, and then when do I need to put it to bed? So maybe by the end of this conversation, you and I, like, maybe it will be time to put it to bed so that you can move on. Ultimately, I want to talk a little bit about you leaving the relationship in the past and how hard it was for you to leave that relationship in the past. And you feel like you've become this new person. I think a lot of us think about our early relationships, our high school relationships or our college relationships, or maybe it's just like the first time you're ever really in love and the first time you ever really get hurt. Those relationships can be very, very intense. And when we think about ourselves in them, I think it's completely natural to want to have some distance from that version of ourselves. There's a lot in your letter about him and the stuff he did, and I take your word for it. High school boyfriends can be doing some crazy, mean shit. Assuming that whatever happened with him, he's not a threat to others. He's not dangerous. I think it's worth thinking about your memories of yourself during that time. Because we can't really control the fact that he's going to be there and that you have these memories about him. And it's evident to me that you haven't completely moved on. And I don't think that's a flaw. I think sometimes it takes a long time to move on. And sometimes a person coming back into our life is what allows us to move on. Like, again, I think you're having a very unique experience that perhaps he's going to be very embedded in your life. Sometimes we have to run into our ex, or we have to have an encounter with them, an uncomfortable encounter with them, for us to be like, wow, I can actually put this behind me now. But I don't know if you've put him behind you yet, and this whatever went down between the two of you. And I also don't know if you've put behind your role in that relationship and the way you remember yourself. And it might be, right now might be a good moment for you to forgive her, or for you to think fondly of her, or for you to try to have softness and empathy for the version that you were in that relationship. You said, the people here in college don't know high school me. And now somebody who knows high school me is coming in, and are they gonna meddle? The version that you were in high school, you've grown from her, but she is still you. And I find myself doing this too a lot, like thinking about different versions of myself, either with pride and envy or with like shame and disgust. And I wonder what it could be like to just be a little bit more neutral and loving to all of the versions. We are going to grow, we're going to take steps back, we're going to take steps forward, but they are all you. High school you, I want you to imagine that she isn't as bad as you're making her out to be. The people who love you now, the reasons they love you, the reasons your friends love you, some of those reasons were evident back in high school too. They love the high school version of you too because she's still there. She's who got you here. Nothing that this boyfriend can do by being present in your life right now can make your friends see you differently, unless you start acting differently. And I wouldn't even say that it's you reverting to your high school ways. It's like if you allow this hardship to start making you act in ways that are not aligned with your values. And that's why I'm saying I don't think you should meddle to the point of not allowing him in, unless he did something like truly dangerous, again, where he's a liability to others, or his presence would be deeply traumatic to you because of whatever happened. And I am not the decider of that. But the way I'm reading your letter, it feels to me more like kind of classic, really bad. I shouldn't say classic because I don't think that everybody has a really bad breakup, but like as far as bad breakups go, it's feeling to me like classic bad breakup. One of those relationships where in hindsight, you're like, wow, that thing he did was like really fucked up. And I just sort of thought it was normal, or I groveled. Like I think back to my high school relationship, particularly the time when my high school boyfriend went to college and I was still in high school. I sometimes think back on that time and feel like sick to my stomach for some of the stuff that I allowed to happen, and that I like continued to grovel for his love and attention, even when he was being such a piece of shit. It is really such a hard situation. It really is such a hard situation that you're in, because on one hand, let's say this wasn't an acapella group. Let's say this wasn't like a school sanctioned thing, an extracurricular, and it was just your friend group. I think I would say something different. I would say, of course, you tell your friends, we're not hanging out with this guy. Even if the friends were like, oh, but he seems cool. He seems nice. He seems like he's grown. Like, no, we are not hanging out with that guy because your friends, because he's my ex-boyfriend. That's just like the friend code. Friends don't befriend each other's exes when it's still raw. Maybe later, maybe way down the line as life goes on. It's like, oh, I didn't know that. And people can bump into each other and who knows? Like, I wouldn't, 20 years down the line, I think you probably need to get over it. But it's still, that's actually an interesting question. It's like, what is the line for a classic-ish breakup where like you need to get over it? I think being in college, the high school breakup is still relevant and raw enough that it would be completely fair game to say to your friends, we're not hanging out with this dude. However, it's the acapella group of it all that makes it feel more complicated for me. That's what makes it feel more complicated for me. Do your friends know? It seems like your friends do know how you feel. I wonder if rather than asking your friends for support in not being his friend, I wonder how you can lean on your friends here for support in being the bigger person. Before I even say the bigger person, I want to throw out a possible reframe, which is that the memory of this relationship might be worse to you than the way you currently feel. If you haven't had an opportunity yet to prove to yourself that you truly are over this, perhaps that time is now. Perhaps he is coming into your life right now in, yes, this admittedly kind of insane way, for you to see how much you've grown. Maybe it is actually a gift to you. Yes, it's a gift. It's one of those gifts in life that the universe gives us that we wish they could have given us an easier way. But maybe this is here for you to be like, oh, I'm actually over this. And now I can see him without all this power. Like, we give our exes sometimes so much power because you're remembering yourself when you were at your most hurt. But it's been years, baby. Like, you are not that person anymore. And I want you to have confidence that you can be in his presence and not feel the way you felt at your lowest of moments. You might have some anticipatory anxiety that like he's going to show up and you're going to feel like the girl that was broken up with or the girl that got her heart broken or whatever it is, those specific memories you have in your relationship of like the worst possible things that went down. Your body and your mind might be like, oh shit, I thought we were done with that. We're not going back there. But maybe it's going to be the opposite. Maybe seeing him, you're going to be like, oh, this guy now, he's completely stripped of that power he had over me back then. And how fucking awesome will that be? Like, sort of side story, that high school boyfriend I was telling you about. So when I started dating my husband now, Brian. We didn't start dating, but we hooked up for the first time. We got together the end of my junior year of college, end of his senior year. And our first date was actually his fraternity formal. We went to Chicago for the weekend. He invited me. I wasn't sure if I was going to go because we had hooked up once and I thought it was kind of crazy, but he was really nice and my mom thought it was a good idea. I told my therapist about it. We all sort of thought it was fine. I went to the formal. Now, stick with me here. One of Brian's best friends, Will, in his fraternity, Will has a best friend from home who went to college with my ex-boyfriend. They all lived in Chicago at the time, the ex-boyfriend and the home friend. So we're going to Chicago for this formal, and one of the nights we were going to a bar. Like Friday night after the dinner that was planned, we all went to a bar. Will's friend, who knew my ex, told my ex that we were all going to be there. And my ex texted me earlier in the day saying that he was thinking of coming to the bar, and I said, please don't. I said, please don't come because I'm here with somebody. I haven't seen you in a long time. I'm here with this guy that I don't really know very well. Please don't come. Well, of course, he fucking came. How disrespectful. He came, and I remember seeing him from across the bar and saying to Brian, like, I know this is really weird, but my ex-boyfriend is over there, and I need to go say hello. And Brian was like, okay, like, that's fine. It was such a green flag. I think he probably offered if I needed help, but he, like, wasn't triggered at all. He's like, cool, okay, I'll see you in a minute. And I went over, and I said hello to my ex, and all I fucking remember was how little I cared. I don't remember anything of what we said except for, wow, this man, I feel nothing towards him. I don't feel anger. I don't feel resentment. I don't feel lust. I don't feel nostalgia. I sort of feel nothing. And that was so freeing. And I had all this anxiety about seeing him. And I was able to leave that with I was able to leave that exchange with kind of like relief. It wasn't even as strong as relief. It was just like peace. Like, wow, I really can put this behind me. I really can put this behind me. And while that experience is not the same as what you might be about to experiencing if he's going to be in this group with you, but I want to throw out the option that could be something that happens here. And I think you do have a role to play in that possibly happening. Maybe it's worth having a conversation with your ex. Like, what would it be like for you to sit down with him and be like, hey, this feels really weird for me, and I don't want it to feel weird. I want to be able to put the past behind us. Can we do that? I don't know what went down between the two of you, but is there space and is there like safety for you to give him the benefit of the doubt in that way? Benefit of the doubt that maybe he can just be a neutral person. Is that possible? You might not know you might know right away with me saying that, where you're like, hell no, Hayes, I can't go. I cannot be alone with this man. Fine. But if there's a part of you that's like, you know what, maybe we can like go get a coffee and I can say this. Maybe I can do that. And even if it goes poorly, I think I'm in a space where I can handle it. That could be worth it. Because gosh, I want you to be able to put this behind you. I want you to be able to put your fears, your resentments, your sadness about this relationship and who you were in it and the way it impacted you. I want you to put it behind you. I don't care about him. I want you to be able to move on, and I want you to be able to have confidence that his presence can't drag you back because you're already in the future. Life doesn't work like this. We are not in time machines. Time machines don't exist. You are where you are and nothing can bring you back, especially not him. I don't want you to doubt that all of the confidence, all of the relationships you've built, like they can't be taken from you unless you start to act a fool, unless you start to act in ways that are not true to who you are. And listen, I'll give you some slack. Like we all act out of line when we are stressed or triggered or whatever. So if you've already done something where you don't feel like you've acted in line with your morals, which I think probably you have, you said whenever you talk about it with friends who know him, you feel like an evil ex, conniving and preying on his downfall. That shows me that you're already doing some things that are not feeling right for you. That's okay. We don't need to beat yourself up for it. But it's valuable information for maybe how you want to act in the future. You know, the one thing I keep coming back to that I think is so important to talk about, and it could be a really fun also conversation with your friends, is the concept of like college me versus high school me. And I'm going to keep thinking about this too, the way that we do this to ourselves, the way that we like bifurcate the word, the way we like separate ourselves into these eras. How Taylor Swift of us. We separate ourselves into these eras and we attach so much judgment about these eras. And I want you to trust that like high school you, even though she is flawed, she is lovable. She is lovable. And you don't have to rehash things. Him being in your life in some way does not mean you need to rehash the past. It will mean the past bubbles up and that you can think about the past, but it could be an opportunity to think about the past from a place of like peace rather than a place of guilt and resentment and all of that. Are you okay in there, honey? Good girl. Good girl. Sorry, guys. I'm with Francis right now alone. Brian is away, and usually he takes her for a walk during the podcast, and that is not the case for me this week. So she is all things considered a very chill dog. But anyway, she was just making noise in the crate and distracted me. I guess final logistical thing I'll say, I don't want to rehash my high school relationship if someone asks why things are weird between us. Telling somebody what's going on does not mean you need to rehash it. So if someone says, hey, I've noticed that things are weird with you in Austin. Austin is not the name, and the off chance that I guessed correctly, that is purely coincidence, I mean. I think you just say, we used to date in high school and I haven't gotten used to it yet. Or we used to date in high school. That's all. Or you say, oh, we just knew each other in high school. Or you can say, yeah, I don't really want to talk about that, but everything's fine. There are so many things you can say. You can decide on what you want your line to be. Maybe even if you do have that coffee with him, the two of you could like decide on that together. I don't know if that's like way overly optimistic as an option. I'm curious. The person who wrote this letter, if you wrote back to me, I'd be curious how that lands with you. But you don't have to rehash it. Like, just because people ask a question doesn't mean you need to give them the full story. And sometimes people ask questions without even expecting the full story. We just, because we have an emotional reaction to the question, we like assume they're like digging and assume they're being nosy, when really they're just like, oh, I'm picking up on something. What's going on? And about your friends being better friends with him, I think that is a valid fear, but I think it's an emotional one. I don't think your friends are going to be better friends with him. First of all, you've been friends with them for longer. Not that friendships are developed, not that close friendships are always the friendships that have been around the longest, but I think you may continue to have reactions about your friends and their interactions with him. Like, if your friends have positive interactions with him, you probably are going to feel something about it. But I would have an open conversation with your friends about how you feel. I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't know what the right thing is. I feel like this is going to be one that really needs to be an open. I want you to be having self-awareness and you to be checking yourself where maybe you're not being fair. But you're also allowed to have needs. And I think that in the time it takes for you to get over this and for you to put the past behind you, I think it's okay to have expectations of friends that they're not like buddy-buddy with him. It might not be okay to ask everybody that, though, because he is a human being who probably will be looking for friends too. And this is a way that people make friends. It's a really hard balance, and I don't know what the right thing is. Only you can know what the right thing is. And I think what we're looking for is something that makes you feel good about yourself. The balance is going to be something that makes you feel confident and proud of who you are, proud of the person you've become. Okay. You can do this, and trust also, I know you can't see this now, that this is going to be like an incredible story later. That at the very least, this is going to be a funny story that you get to tell. Kind of like my story of running into my ex at the bar at Brian's fraternity formal in Chicago. This is going to be a story where you're like, you're not going to believe it. Or it's going to be like a Carly Fortune novel, and you're going to fall back in love. And God, I hope that's not too offensive for me to even suggest that. Or this is going to be the plot of an incredible book one day, because it actually happened in your real life and you'll inspire it. Or, I mean, hey, catch me writing it. Perhaps if I make a transition into romance writing, maybe I will steal your life story. Anyway, thank you so much for writing in. If anyone else listening wants to send in a letter, it's hellohayesbusiness@gmail.com. That's hellohayesbusiness@gmail.com. I answer letters about any range of topics. Send them to me. I hope wherever you're listening, you're having a good week. And I will be right back for part 2 of the episode. Hi, guys. Oh, man. I don't know. I was wearing these blue light glasses in the first half of this episode today. Sorry if that distracted you. And I know you can see the ring light through them, which always used to really annoy me in my production days when I was doing like interviews and stuff for my job via Zoom during COVID. The ring light in people's glasses was always such an issue, but there's nothing really you can do about it. People need their glasses if they're wearing their glasses for vision. I wear these because I'm trying to get a handle on my headaches. Brian's always on my ass about wearing these fucking blue light glasses. What is it about your partner recommending you do things that are good for you that can be so goddamn annoying? If I come out and I'm like, oh, I have such a bad headache, like my head's really bothering me, I don't know what to do. He's like, well, did you wear your blue light glasses? Or like, I think you should put on your blue light glasses. I'm like, how fucking dare you? Why are you always blaming me? And he's like, it's not blaming me. It's just something, the way that sometimes when we are in a bad mood, it is easy to pick on the people we love. I thank him for putting up with me, and he is right. But these blue glasses are honestly, I'm not sure I ordered a very cheap pair because this was an experiment, and I didn't want to order an expensive one unless I knew I was going to wear them. And as a person who doesn't wear glasses for vision, I'm like, I don't even like wearing sunglasses. I don't love the way they feel on my face. I didn't want to commit yet, but it sort of seems like maybe that wasn't the best course of action, because now I don't know if those work. Like, they're so shitty that I don't know if they work, but I should commit, because these headaches I've been getting, you guys, I'm definitely getting some vision and or screen related headaches. I think I need to just go to the eye doctor. It's hard because I've always historically had very good vision. Specifically, I can see things and read things that are really far away. I know there's nearsighted and farsighted. I'm wondering if I have the problem of things being close to me. Here's what's happening for me at the moment. Like yesterday, I was doing my 2025 revenue and expenses. I was making the spreadsheet for our accountant. And after 1 hour on my computer, not even on my phone, of being in the spreadsheet, and I made everything like size 16 font, I got this eyeball headache. And it feels like my eyes are strained and I just need to close my eyes. And I feel like after 1 hour of doing computer work, like that shouldn't be the case. So I'm wondering if it's like a closeness thing. Sometimes at night, it gets a little confusing for me when I'm driving, of like the lights can be a little distracting, which I know is sort of dangerous. So I try not to drive at night if I can get away with it. I don't like to drive at night. Brian's always the nighttime driver, and I'm fine if it's short distance, but I start to get a headache. That's really what it is. I get a headache because then I'm focusing so hard to make sure that I'm not messing something up or hurting myself. I need to go to the eye doctor, but it's something I'm putting off because I don't really know what to expect. And these types of tasks for me, when there's all these different steps that I'm sort of unaware of, can begin to feel very overwhelming. Like, I know I need to look at what our vision insurance is. Brian actually offered to do that. Thank you, Brian. Great man. When I go in, like, can I just walk in? Do I have to make an appointment? Can I just walk in anywhere? When do I get the glasses? I do think it would be really fun, though, if I needed glasses. Back in middle school, maybe it was high school. Speaking of, in part one, we're talking about feeling embarrassed about our high school selves. I definitely went through a phase where I had fake glasses because I really loved them as an accessory. And my mom and I went and I got glasses with just the clear lenses. It would be cool if I needed glasses. It also, I mean, aside from the aesthetics and the fashion statement of it all, it would be cool if I found a solution. I think it would be cool and depressing if I go and I get glasses and I'm like, wow, I've been so uncomfortable for so long. And all I needed to do was make this appointment. All I needed to do was like take better care of myself. I think that would be maybe perhaps a wake-up call. So I need to do it. If anyone here has recently gone to the eye doctor or has gone to any doctor and it's resulted in some like health win, can you give me some encouragement? Because I don't know why it's feeling like a Herculean task right now. Everything is sort of feeling like a Herculean task right now. I'm going to be so fucking for real. Before I recorded the podcast today, I was trying to sit down to record like almost an hour before, and I just had a good solid cry. Part of what happened is that I opened up my inbox and I saw that I got a newsletter from Liz Gilbert. I subscribe to her newsletter, Letters from Love, where every week she writes a letter to herself. It is a letter to herself, but she has this like spiritual, she asks love, and love is like a presence in her life, a spiritual presence. She asks love a question about something that she needs, that love wants her to know. And this week's question was, what do you want me to know about celebrating my accomplishments? And so she wrote herself this letter about how hard it is to celebrate accomplishments. And I listened to her read it, and it really just got me fucking, it like unlocked. I just had a good solid cry. Both because celebrating accomplishments is something that is something that's been hard for me always and of late, but also I'm just a little bit of there's a lot going on, and I am feeling my emotions big time. And part of why I was wearing the glasses was, yes, to protect those sweet eyeballs of mine, but also because my eyes are a little puffy. Can you see? They're a little puffy, and I'm feeling it, which maybe leads me to this question I'm going to ask you. I made a short video of this, so forgive me if you've already seen it. One of my favorite questions to ask people when they're experiencing, like at their wedding, for example, or whenever something is happening that is abnormal, is tell me how you feel in 3 words. Tell me how you feel in 3 words is one of my favorite questions to ask. And part of what I love about it is that it captures the complexity of our emotions and our human experience, because in any situation, we often have conflicting emotions or many emotions at once. And sometimes when I am sad or when I have these like big intense emotions, I can forget that I have many, and that the sadness isn't any more powerful than the other ones. So I thought maybe right now I'm going to share with you. Nothing major is happening at this exact moment. I'm sitting in my office. It's Sunday afternoon. My dog is in my crate. I miss my husband. I'm going to go shopping and get some lunch with a friend of mine later this afternoon. But I am feeling a lot of things, and I want to hear what you're feeling too. So allow me to share with you my 3 emotions. And in the comments, please share with me three feelings that describe where you're at today, right now, wherever it is you're listening from. So one is disappointed. I'm feeling disappointed right now that certain things haven't happened that I thought were going to happen by the time I moved. So I'm feeling the presence of disappointment right now as a feeling that this move is coming up, and there's just some of the things I hoped for aren't happening. It might never happen, but something about the fact that I thought they were going to happen by this point is just making me kind of face some of that. So I'm feeling the presence of disappointment, and that disappointment is definitely loud. I'm feeling optimistic. Brian looked at a couple of rentals, and he's feeling optimistic. He's feeling optimistic about them. I have other feelings about the fact that I'm not going to see the places and Brian is, but I'm feeling optimistic, like things are happening, things are moving, we are going to find a place to live, and that once we sign a lease, once I sort of know where we're going, I'm optimistic that I'm going to be able to start picturing myself in this move a little more clearly. I'm optimistic that that's going to make me feel a little bit more settled. Because right now it's just like, oh, I can't buy a new couch because I don't know where the fuck we're going to live. The couch thing. Every day I realize something new about this move that I'm not prepared for. We are not bringing our couch because we've had it for 10 years. Francis destroyed it as a puppy. We're just not bringing that couch with us. Great couch, Crate and Barrel couch. Brian and I bought it when we moved in together. But the couch is staying. But then it hit me. Oh my God, couches typically take a long time to arrive. I hear all these horror stories about people going 4 months without a couch. I can't even if I wanted to get ahead and order the couch now for our new place, I can't because I don't know what our space looks like. So I'm optimistic about having some clarity there. And I'm feeling really, how else am I feeling? I'm trying to pick a positive word when the reality is that a lot of my words at this current moment are sort of bummer words. Like I don't feel super in touch with my sense of confidence at the moment. Like I don't feel super confident right now, and the way I'm trying to get through that is just trusting that I'm in a down slump, but just because I'm feeling a lack of confidence doesn't mean that the reality has changed. And I know that I'm going to feel confident again. I just know that right now I'm in a little slump. And that's really what I'm trying to say to myself. Like I'm trying to be so kind and self-soothing with the voice. And when I start to feel like, oh shit, is everything falling apart? I'm like, no, babe, nothing's falling apart. Everything is just as it was 2 months ago when you were feeling really good and really hopeful and like everything was on the right track. The only thing that's changed is like, you're just like, you're a little tired maybe. There's a lot going on. You can't always feel like you're winning. And it's just the good times are going to circle back. It's not even the good times. Times are still good, but the good feelings maybe. We can't always feel like $1,000,000. But that's not the word I want to choose. I guess the third word I want to choose is excited. Like my sister, mom, and I just planned a couple of nights in New York City in May where we're going to do a little bit more wedding shopping for my sister's wedding in August. And that's not something I would have been able to do if I lived here. You know, my sister's going to take the train up. I'm going to drive in. My mom's going to fly in. And the fact that we're all able to do that, that's going to feel really exciting. Obviously, still now living in LA, we could plan trips in advance, 2 months in advance. But the fact that I'll be able to drive in and Bella can take the train in under 3 hours, that reminds me a part of why I'm doing this, so that I can have more experiences like that, so that I can be driving distance from the city, one of my favorite places in the world. And that was like, oh, that's going to be nice. Like, I'm going to drive into the city. I'm not going to have to take the flight. I'm not going to have to do that whole travel experience. So that made me feel excited. So those are 3 words to describe how I'm feeling right now. I'd love to hear your 3 words if you tell me in the comments. You can give me the word and a little bit about why you're feeling that way, or you can just give me the word, however you want to do it. That's all I have for today. Thank you guys so much for listening. I love you. I appreciate you, and I'll be back next Tuesday. If you like this episode, send it to a friend. Please leave a 5-star review or subscribe to my Substack. I love you, and I will see you next week. Bye.